Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 1 year anniversary of the birth of the Moist. A year ago tonight, I may have had a few drinks. Uh-oh. The 1 year anniversary.
I knew it. I knew it.
That might be me.
Yep.
Yep, that was me. My bad, folks.
A rookie mistake.
Let's restart that. Welcome to the 1 year anniversary of the birth of the Moist. A year ago tonight on World Class Bullshitters, I may have had a couple drinks and I was in the comment section. Dropped a super chat. The guys there, Jeff Hicks and all, learned my last name, Moist, and they ran with it. And the chat especially ran with it and made it really bigger than what it was or what was intended to be. I was just commenting, and it blew out of proportion for myself in a good way. It's led me to here, doing these live streams, and has led me to meet a lot of great other YouTubers, the guys from World Class Bullshitters, and interact with a lot of other great YouTubers as well through the comment section and Hangouts. And two of those YouTubers joining me tonight is a founding member of the Moist Cast, Adam Shawhan.
Thanks for having me. Congratulations on 1 year, Moist.
Thank you very much. And one of those other fellow YouTubers who has a lot of great plans coming up here, a pretty big skit trilogy coming up for this summer. If you haven't seen his first trilogy, The Rookie's Test, check that out. And you can find that on his channel, and it is The Rookie Critic.
Yep, thanks, man. Congratulations, Mr. Moisture, on your 1 year surviving that whole long journey. Probably nice and wet and moist, and I can't think of other wet words at the moment.
It actually is. I mean, you're not wrong. I'm actually about to turn my AC on because it is quite. I'm beginning to dampen, so I need to turn the AC on so I contain my moisture.
Mm-hmm. Got to keep control the moist. And yeah, I got a huge skit trilogy coming up, trying to get as many people involved as possible. If anybody that comes in here and sees a replay wants to join on it, message me at the Rookie Critic on Twitter or at the Rookie Submissions at gmail.com. If you want to have a little cameo, I have spots for an 8-second cameo, part of a montage thing that anybody can join. So it's going to be a huge community event, humongous thing. 3 videos, 1 hour long each, as well as an included Rotten Tomatoes skit that will be Game of Thrones themed, called Game of Tomatoes.
I like that. That is good. There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of directions I feel like you can go with that.
Oh, yes.
Now, tonight, I feel like it's going to be more of a free-for-all, and we're going to talk on things that have happened since May of last year to May of this year in entertainment and pop culture. And I think let's start back. This is all going to be off the top of my head, so I might forget some things. And you guys fill in as I forget things. The first thing that I can remember about this time last year is right now Soilo is in theaters. And soon the first numbers of opening weekend are coming out. And then shortly after that, we find out the entire earnings, the box office of Soilo, and learned that it flopped big time, the first Star Wars movie to flop. And I remember in the Fandom Menace especially, this was probably one of the most exciting times, honestly, in the Fandom Menace, and one of the biggest periods of growth leading up to Soilo for all the major channels such as WCBS, Geeks and Gamers, and Comic Cars Pro Secrets, Ethan Van Sciver, mainly because of the hype of Solo and the lack thereof. So looking back a year from Solo, we had that little stint of make Solo 2 happen. But other than that, I mean, I think there was more hype a year from Rogue One than what there was from Solo as a standalone movie. I mean, do you guys agree with that?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it's like, I think Rogue One, looking back at it, Rogue One was a movie that, we didn't ask for it, but we got it. But it actually it's a movie that filled in a part of the story that was like, okay, that makes sense. Where, all of a sudden they have the Death Star plans. Well, kind of like, it's one of the plot holes that you're wondering, like, well, how the hell did that happen? I think Rogue One, it's pretty long and it kind of gets a little dry at points, but I mean, for that last act, it's all worth it. And yeah, it is.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I kind of thought that there wasn't really a problem or plot hole with the original one, as it was. It just seemed like this was kind of unnecessary, but for doing it, that's a decent idea for a film. But I feel like they could have done better with like what they did to how they get the plans. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it was okay. It's the least worst of the Disney ones, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's by far the best of the Disney ones. I mean, it's one that, I mean, I can honestly, it's one that, like, if it would be on TV, like, I would actually stop and probably watch it. And I have watched it numerous times on Netflix. Now, granted, I just zoom forward to the K2SO parts and the battle scenes, really, because that's all I really cared about in that movie, and the Vader scenes. But I think really Solo, looking back at it, and I rewatched Solo a couple months ago, and it's not. I didn't hate the movie. It was just one of the movies that's just like, it's there, like whatever. And there were things in it that I did not like or I disagreed with, but to me, it's that movie. Here's how I describe Solo to somebody that's not a Star Wars fan. It's that movie that you're hungover on a Saturday or a Sunday. You had a long night at the bar. You're just on your couch, and you're too lazy to turn your TV channel, and that's the movie you're stuck with. I feel like that's pretty much how I describe it.
Still better than an infomercial.
Yes.
And I don't know, Solo. You were on with the watch party with bullshitters, right?
I was, yes.
Yeah.
With that, it's just so boring. Like
and
nothing. There's nothing that makes me go, "Gee, look at what's happening." It's like, oh, there you go.
Yes, that watch party made the movie a lot fun. That's
honestly,
sure.
I think
a lot of fun.
We got off topic so many times.
I think we talked about Solo for maybe 40% of the watch time.
I'm pretty sure, because I remember at one point Jeff said, "Wait, I forgot the movie's still on. What's the timestamp?" And we're like, "Jeff, you are the timestamp."
Yeah.
I mean, like there are parts that are kind of cool here and there, but those parts are few and far between.
It's meant to have on while we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Like we're not supposed to be focusing on it at all. It's just, hey, look, background.
Yes, very good background noise.
Exactly. Yeah, a good movie to have while you're going to sleep or while you're.
There's only one scene in that entire film that I thought was actually pretty good, and like if you were gonna show any type of backstory to Han Solo that would be worth leaving in, was when they're doing the Kessel Run and Han and Amelia Clark or whatever are trying to pilot, and she's like, I don't know how to fly, and Chewbacca like presses a few buttons, then he shoves her over and takes the seat, and then
that
it's
was awesome.
Han and Chewie. I love it. It's like, get the hell out of my seat, bitch, and then so too.
And that was awesome, just to see Chewbacca take over there. And fun fact about Chewbacca, the actor that plays him, Giannis Suatamo, I actually have a basketball autographed by him.
Oh, sweet.
He was my back way when I was in middle school. Middle school, like 8th grade, I think. I grew up near Penn State, and he played basketball at Penn State. And I went to Penn State basketball camp for a week there. And at the camp, you were assigned a player was your coach for your team, and he was my coach. So I got to. He was actually, and the funny thing is, he was still learning English. So this would have been, trying to date myself here, 10 years ago at least. Yeah, about 10 years ago. He was still learning English. He could speak it pretty good, but you'd say some things and he'd be like, I don't know what that is. And he was this massive 7'3" dude that just, and one thing he always was like, get low on defense. That's what he always teach us. And we're like, how do you get low? You're 7'3". And he's just like, I don't. So he is a very
low as he can go, which is still pretty high. So.
Exactly. But I have a basketball signed by him. And the thing is, like, I feel like obviously, Chewbacca is Peter Mayhew, and this is something else that happened recently in the moist year. The passing of Peter Mayhew, unfortunately, who gave us Chewbacca in the original trilogy. and some throughout the prequel, and some limited scenes in the sequel series, which I'm grateful for, those scenes that he could sit in on. I mean, you can't tell, but I'm grateful that he did have a couple on-screen experiences before the end. So rest in peace to him. But I think Giannis Suatamo, I think he's doing a good job as Chewbacca. I mean, obviously, there's only so many tall dudes out there in the world that can play him.
True, and they're mostly basketball players.
Yeah, and I think, and I love how passionate he is about. If you look on Jonas's Twitter and his Instagram and all that, he's very passionate about it, and he's very, very grateful to Peter Mayhew for everything. And he credited, even during The Force Awakens and all that back then, he credited a lot to him. So I think that he's really one of the new cast members of the sequel series that people can get behind, but they might not know him as well as the Daisy Ridleys and John Boyega and whoever plays Poe. Oscar Isaac. There we go. That's Poe. I think he's kind of like the unsung hero of like, hey, and he was in Rogue One. That was cool. He got to go beyond just the sequel trilogy. So no, he wasn't in Rogue One.
No, he wasn't in there. No.
I was Solo. He was in Solo. So that's what I meant, Solo. So yeah, he got to do a little bit more than just the sequel, and he got to do more. Thankfully, we got to see him do stuff in Solo.
Yeah, true.
Maybe that's the one payoff, I guess, between The Last Jedi and Solo. We got to see Chewbacca do something in Solo.
Right. True. But he did kind of do stuff in the other ones too, so it's not like he just wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Like if anything, he was the main one doing things while everyone else is talking.
Yeah.
Fixing the droids, fixing the ship, fixing the door.
Yeah, I mean, you can always remember. I say, like in the OT, like when you think of Chewbacca, you think of what? Of him being the big badass Wookiee, or he has those those ridiculous glasses on, the mechanical glasses or whatever, and he's fixing something on the Falcon.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that is awesome. I mean, rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. One of the more unfortunate things to happen during this moist year. So I guess we'll ask you guys, since last May, what has been maybe a highlight? Let's get happy before we get sad. What has been a highlight of this moist year for you since last May? Could be in a moment in pop culture or anything. We'll go with you, Adam, since we haven't heard as much from you tonight.
For me, I've had blast on Good Morning Pop Culture with you every morning, chit-chatting while we had Good Morning Pop Culture. That topped the cake. Getting just to know you, getting to help you set this up, and when you decided you wanted to actually do it, going to meet World Class Bullshitters in August was really awesome to actually meet the guys that brought us together. But the fact that so many of us, Rookie included, that's where I met Rookie from, because I'd see him on Good Morning Pop Culture. And that is a show that I am ready and hoping will be back soon, because, man, do I miss it. But that's how so many of us, through one channel met. And it's really cool to sit back here, and it's been a year, that you and I have been chit-chatting. And same with Rookie, because I remember, when we all just would be in the chat talking, and you'd catch Rookie on occasion, and then he'd have his streams. And, for me, it was getting to learn to use YouTube was a little bit different, because I wasn't used to it using via like a computer or anything. I just did on the PlayStation. So you just hit play, and then, you didn't have, I'd hear names, but I didn't know who the fuck they were. I'm like, what is it? What are they talking about? And then when I started doing it from my tablet and saw the live chat, that's when it took off for me, and had talked with Rookie, talked with you, Tina, a whole bunch of people. And I don't want to forget anybody, but that's how I started out. DJ D Show. That was another big one for me, was meeting him through there. But we all had a lot of fun. And, outside of pop culture and everything else, I'm just grateful that we all met through, Jeff Hicks and World Class Bullshitters. Yeah, I'm extremely thankful for that. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, I think that's a good highlight. Yeah, I miss Good Morning Pop Culture. So if Jeff Hicks would tune in here for some reason, that would be awesome. And hopefully we'll get some GMPC coming up maybe this summer. Definitely once Stealing Solo, once that's all out there, which sounds like he's getting pretty close to being done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think he must be like on his last couple pages or something, trying to print it or something.
I was gonna say from last I heard him comment about it, he said he had like one page to go and that was it. So,
and there's no hatred, man. We just miss him. I miss the show. That's where we all met though. It was through that, and that was my YouTubing experience learning on. But I mean, before I knew the voice of the Moist. I knew him in chat. Same with Rookie. I knew you in chat and then started learning how to use YouTube and subscribe to channels and watch more stuff. And, it's been a great way to meet new people in different states and have a good time and be able to jump on here like now, and we ad-lib more than anything. None of this is planned. So
yeah, it's like usually you have a few topics to go off of and then you just roll with it.
That's right.
Pretty much.
So for me, being the oldest person in this group, minus DJ being 9,000 years old, he's got me topped. But it's great to meet you young guys and be able to share stories and ideas in pop culture and just even life and actually have a friendship with people. That's the one thing. But it all goes back to good old Jeff Hicks and World Class Bullshitters on Good Morning Pop Culture. So, but that is what I am most thankful for. Meeting all you great people.
No, I think that's a good memory to have there and a good experience in 2018. How about you, Rookie Credit?
Everything he just said, plus, so there's that, and I've been thankful to meet a lot of the higher YouTubers too lately. Like I've talked with Odin's Movie Blog, John Talks, Jesse Milestone, Nerderotic, Mahler, even met quite a few of them lately, and it's like a lot of people really see them as these humongous people that can't be talked to, huge celebrity, and now they are just as normal guys as anybody could be, as you probably know from meeting Jeff Hicks and stuff. It's like, yeah, I've been pretty cool with that. There's been a lot of charities that people have done in the last year. The Peter Mayhew one, for one, the one Geeks and Gamers did. I think Galactic Pops, that channel, does some charities. I think you do. I think Drunk 3PO does some charities. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah, and that is awesome. And joining us here tonight is our favorite fellow from the land down under, Mr. Peabody. How's it going?
It's all right. I'm the Aussie Eskimo.
The Aussie Eskimo.
All right.
Well, we if just to fill you in here, Mr. Peabody, it is 1 year since the Moist was born in the comment section of World Class Bullshitters. Literally to the day. So we are having a Moistcast, Moistiversary, as we might say, to celebrate that occasion. And we're just discussing this year in moisture, as in from May 2018 to May 2019. So Rookie and Adam just gave us some of their favorite memories of 2018, 2019, May 2018 to May 2019. So maybe some of your favorite memories of recent with pop culture or anything. Putting you on the hot seat.
Oh, yeah, that is the hot seat.
We're going to go positive before we go negative. So
drawing a complete blank. Just the year in general, or movies, or
from May of last year to May of this year. So I guess in pop culture we can say May of last year begins with Solo, and then May of this year is where we're at.
Okay. Well, as far as movies go, I'd have to go for a movie that I saw very recently, Brightburn.
What was that?
It was a whole fresh new look on the Superman story, and I thought it was brilliant. So that's my choice.
So that is, I have seen some reviews. I've seen some reviews. I've seen just listened to some podcasts where people have talked about it, and I have been curious to see what,
Well,
really
it takes the Superman story and it throws it on its heart. It's like, you've got an alien with these powers comes to Earth, And what if his puberty didn't go so well? But I mean, it's well done. It's I loved it. I really loved it. It is like a horror movie, but I loved it. I mean,
That sounds like an interesting take. As someone who's
Yeah.
I'm not a big superhero movie fan. Like I'm not like when I went to see Avengers, I watched I not watched, but while I was at work, I listened to a 5-hour recap. I don't even know what the YouTube channel was, but I listened to a 5-hour recap of the entire MCU, and I went to see it. I've seen all the Avengers, and I watched basically Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, the first Thor, the first couple Captain Americas, Civil War. That was basically it. And I went into it knowing everything. I'm just like, boom. Well, not knowing everything, but I was like, I have a good enough comprehension of the MCU. Boom. So whenever it was showing all the flashbacks to the other movies, the various movies throughout Endgame, I'm like, I get it. I get this. And I'm like, I just listened to a 5-hour thing. And really because I was just getting burnt out by the superhero movies. I'm just like, yo, there's one every 3 months. I'm like, holy crap. Like,
Well, like Spider-Man's right around the corner now.
yeah. It's like
that's the beauty of Brightburn, because it is not a superhero movie. It's completely different. It's like you're talking about just someone who has superpowers, but it's not a superhero movie. That's why, as I said, they've taken the story and thrown it on its ass.
yeah, and
that's what made it so refreshing.
I think that makes it quite interesting.
Yep, unfortunately, I have not seen that yet. The theaters around my town are closed at the moment. AMC is in a legal dispute with Cinetopia, a theater chain around here, and probably going to buy them out, but it'll be a while before there's any movies available. So closest theaters are a good while away.
The closest theaters are a hacking website away. I guess.
Well, yeah, that's no experience. I don't know.
yeah. I would. Not endorsed by this channel, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Not endorsed. I think my favorite memory of this year, was really becoming the Moist and getting to meet all you guys. I think we've had
becoming the Moist.
really becoming the Moist.
Mention how you were Brandon Moist, and then
my name is I say I am Brandon Moist, and I've been moist since my birth, but really embracing the moist and the moisture that I have been blessed with, I think has been a highlight as well. I think a little before the birth of the Moist, I think the hype of the Soilo with EVS and Geeks and Gamers and all them, when they were really, really growing in their first real big growth spurt in their channels, the birth of the High Council was awesome. And I remember Geeks and Gamers' first High Council he joined. Diesel, that was a highlight. And then, this year has felt like a blur. It really has. But really starting the Moistcast in December was awesome. Getting to actually stream with you guys and getting to talk with you guys, and I know everybody here, DJ D, Proper Jeremy, Sith Kryptonian, Jeff, the Iron Wolf, Black Angus. Odin joined my stream. Odin joined the stream a few times. That was awesome to have Odin's movie blog. Lethal Lightning as well.
The other from Down Under.
Yeah, so we've had it's been awesome, and it's it's a diverse crowd that we have here. People will say, "Oh no, it's just a bunch of but it's like no, we have people from all over the world that are literally right now. Mr. Peabody is literally on the entire other side of the world.
The upside down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We're getting different views just because we might all look the same or whatever. It's we are from different parts of the world, and there are different influences there. And the fact that we can all have this medium to come together and share our thoughts, differences, opinions, praises, criticisms is awesome. And I think that's been I've thought a lot when I moved to Washington, D.C. From home. For the first year, I was just watching, didn't really have that opportunity to listen, or not listen, but I was just listening and just didn't really say anything. But once I started actively participating in comments and the group chats and everything, I felt, I'm like, yes, okay, cool. My opinion might matter. And I feel like that's what brought a lot of us together and brought a lot of success to many of our channels. And Adam, we have a puppy on the screen.
Yes, you do. You have a 6-day-old puppy that is 13.6 ounces that is just moving all over the place, trying to figure out where's the moisture. I hear
That's
the
Lizzie.
moisture. I hear
That's
the
Lizzie.
Master Moist.
I'm still pushing that name.
I still think you should just call him the Mountain.
Name it after a Pokemon, dude. It's weird.
Gender neutral name, the Mountain.
Name it after a Pokemon. Why not?
Well, I named mine Charizard and Chikorita, so. Someone turns out to be fat, called Snorlax.
You could call it Brienne of Tarth.
No, well, if you have a look at the marking, if you have a look on the markings on its back, you can just call it cow face. It's got like a cow face on its back.
Called Mr. Cow. Mr. Cow.
Yeah.
Cow face. Like people would say, what did that dog to deserve that? What did the dog do?
Well, I mean, thanks to good old Odin, that's, we sat there and talked, and that's how we ended up with Captain Fatty Pants and Little Miss. So, it had a lot to do with Mr. Peabody here with Little Miss, because the people that originally wanted to buy her, oddly enough, wanted to name her Little Miss Gracie. And then they backed out, and it was really cute because I was on a Discord call with Mr. Peabody when I found out we were keeping her. And the first words out of his mouth was, fuck that Little Miss Gracie shit. I'm Little Miss. And it just stuck. And so she is still Little Miss. And then now we've got Little Miss No Name here. Yes, Echo.
Brienne of Tarth.
No Name.
Or no, Brienne of Shawhan.
She is just too much fun. And even Mama's wanting to get in on the conversation. Yes, Echo. But yes, Frank and the clan are listening. As you can hear, you always have a whole bunch of wiener dogs listening to your stream because, as I told you, a wiener and moisture go hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah, the problem with letting dog parents name their children is that they'd all be called Arf.
Off and bark. Off and bark.
This is Arf. Arf. Arf.
There's just differences in pitch.
Yeah. It's like whether you're in trouble or not.
Oh, good time. Fun, as DJ D would say. Hopefully he'll join. I sent him an invite, but I'll say it for him. Fun times had by all.
It's like Adam will appreciate this, but Julie and Lethal were having a bit of a disagreement on who was the best Batman, and Lethal was sort of like getting into it and everything like that. I said, "It's okay, Julie. If you want to get back at Lethal, just tell him to go back to Tasmania." It's an inside joke.
Well, that's stemming off the inside joke. Let's talk about Batman because we did get recent news in the moist year that Robert Pattinson is going to be the new Batman.
Yeah, the funny thing is, we had that news way before you did. When you guys were all saying it could be this person or this person, it was being announced here.
Oh my!
So we had it 2 weeks before you did.
You guys are truly in the future.
Yeah, but no, they were announcing it here. But I mean, I saw a whole lot of streams where, especially Odin was saying, "Oh, he hasn't been announced yet, and he could be this person or this person." It's like, no, it was being announced. I just didn't say anything because I thought, well, maybe our media is wrong. But unfortunately, they were right.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, so here's what movies did Ben Affleck play the Batman in? Because I have not watched a Batman movie since the Dark Knight trilogy. Because Christian Bale's Batman to me, I freaking loved it. I loved the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, I think Ben Affleck's only done I think he's only done two. I think he's only done Batman versus Superman and the Justice League.
Okay. Because it seemed like when Ben Affleck left, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Batman's dead! Batman's dead!" I mean, like, I'd have been saying that after Christian Bale was done. Like,
yeah,
I thought was kind of my take. So now, Rookie, what are your takes on the Robert Pattinson?
I mean, for one, I hardly care because I don't really care who plays Batman personally. But as far as looks would go, I think he's a little too not too buff to be him, I guess. I do assume bulkiness to kind of go hand in hand with it, or stern. He seems kind of regular, like he gets snapped in half. But then again, I will say this though, depending on when they're going to start filming or when they release it, he could get in shape. I mean, Gerard Butler played freaking King Leonidas, and at the first look at Gerard, you would not think that.
Well, when you look at Tom Hardy, dude, he goes from fat ass to all of a sudden he's really short, really not really fat ass, but like really fit.
And
a couple of extra people.
Yeah.
Just because he was in a really dumb series where he has to play a dumb character doesn't mean that that's all he can do. I mean, as an actor, hopefully he can do more than that. So for all we know, he could do great. We don't know, but I don't know. Do people want him to have like a stupid, I'm Batman type of voice, or like a super voice, or does it matter with the voice? I don't know.
Well, before we go into that debate here, we have two special guests that have joined the 1 year Moist anniversary of the birth of the Moist. Whenever the Moist really became a thing in the world-class bullshitters community, and those people will be Proper Jeremy, under the name Proper Jenny right now, the leader of the Council of Jeremys, that will be airing tomorrow at noon. I think California time.
Yes, Pacific.
There we go. Noon Pacific, and all the way from Asgard, Odin's Movie Blog.
Hello there.
So we are talking about Robert Pattinson getting the Batman role. So Proper Jeremy and Odin, we'd love your takes on that right now.
His name is Proper Ginevra, so if we could
Proper
just get
Ginevra,
that out of the way right now, I think we'll be okay.
I don't appreciate you misgendering me.
I'm giving you your proper gender, proper.
And he's Almighty Odin.
The gender is Ginevra.
You are
it's its own thing.
You are Ginevra.
It's non-binary.
For Robert Pattinson, just to take up a point, because I was listening to the last bit of that with Rookie. Here's the thing: when are they filming?
I don't know. That's why
they are starting to film this summer.
Okay,
you're telling me right now that Robert Pattinson's going to be beefing up in the next month or two to get to the level.
See, I didn't know. I assumed that the announcement was for like months from now, and then he'd have like a good 5 or 6 months to get in shape. But if it's this summer, then no, he don't got a chance.
That is the basic understanding, is that they're going to start filming this summer. So.
But we haven't seen him for a while, so he might have already bulked up a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say.
I don't want him there either. But
steroids,
yeah.
I mean, unless he has a guaranteed role, I don't think he would like diet and exercise to get the role if he doesn't have a role yet. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Honestly, if the role, if they told me they're like, hey, in 6 months you might have the chance to play Batman. Yeah, I'd probably hit the gym a little more than I usually do.
Yeah, they didn't really bother with it with Batwoman. they get the skinniest rake they can possibly find and throw her in a suit. You know, if you had a body like Scarlett Johansson, she's got a little bit of meat on the bones. You know, so you can expect her to kick butt, but not Ruby Rose.
Well, let's keep with Batman here. I say Odin and Proper Jeremy, just like physicality aside, how do you think Pattinson will do as Batman himself? Like how he'll fit into the role following Affleck and Christian Bale? We
will have no clue until we actually get a trailer, until we actually get something. But what I can say is Scott Adkins should have been this role.
I said, like I was telling them earlier that I actually haven't watched Justice League or Superman versus Batman, Ben Affleck. I've seen bits and pieces, but not the full way through. But because I just wasn't as interested as I was with the Dark Knight trilogy. So that's something I'm just watching.
There's a very good reason why you weren't interested. It was not very good.
I'll have to watch it now, but it's something I'm kind of looking forward to see how the community reacts to Pattinson. Like we think about him with Twilight. That's like Isaiah. I'm going to be like Twilight.
Well, I mean, with just that in mind, I mean, for the longest time, people just thought of Zac Efron as the guy from High School Musical. So,
and he has shed that big time now.
Oh yeah, so things can change in terms of reputation and how you're perceived and how people tend to typecast you. That can change. It's just whether or not, and he has proven that he can that he can be diverse with the kind of roles that he plays. If anyone's seen any of his films, like in the recent, the last like few years, I think he's taken steps to at least do different types of roles, which is good. But in terms of Batman, it's just like it's anyone's guess. So everyone's Batman has been different in some way, but also somewhat consistent with the character. Not everyone's, but it's always different. So I can't really speak on how he's gonna do in that regard.
Depending, but they must have seen something about him that set him aside. So let's find out. We're just gonna have to ride it out.
I do kind of have a hesitant optimism that I do believe that the fact that we don't know how it's going to happen. Batman, when you think about him as a character, just in the comics or on television or in the movies, he is a mysterious superhero. So I do kind of like the speculation of like, the mystery of, is this guy going to be good or bad? I kind of like that building into it, but here's the thing: I don't want to set expectations, but it's kind of like something I'm going to enjoy. Just like, hey, maybe he'll be good, maybe he'll be bad, but the mystery surrounding how maybe Batman's going to be portrayed in a way that we've never seen, that fits his character perfectly, like in the comics. So I think I'm not going to jump on and be like, oh no, this sucks, just Twilight guy. But
the other thing is we've got no idea of the story yet either. Is it supposed to be a reboot? What is it? So it's like, could be anything. It could be a younger Batman before he put on the suit. Never know.
Could be, yes. And well, speaking of with the DC and with Batman, we've all seen another thing that has happened. We're recapping essentially this year in Moisture, from May of last year to May of this year. So we'll be getting to Endgame and all that later on, and Game of Thrones later on. But we want to talk. We're going to talk about some other things that came before that. And one thing that I am going to say that I cannot wait for is the Joker.
Well, I agree with that. But I have
walking-
to say, the fellow that they're talking about can't be anywhere near as bad as Affleck. Or, I mean, I had it. I lost it. Clooney. I think by far that was the worst Batman we've ever had. So as long as he doesn't do a Clooney performance, I'm good for it. As for the Joker, I'm down.
Yeah, I'd say Joaquin
Clown in my office. I'm down.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. I would when I first saw Joaquin Phoenix was gonna be the Joker. I was just like, I was hesitant. I'm like, I don't know. I saw that trailer, and I hope it's not trailer hype. I really do not hope that it's just trailer hype. And I think Odin's movie blog would be really good to comment on this part. What are your feelings going in with the Joker coming up with Joaquin Phoenix? Do you think it is just a commercial or a trailer shot to just really build the hype up? Is the story going to be really good, or is it just like trying to be like, hey, Joaquin Phoenix is going to fill the Joker role fine?
Sorry, I had to mute myself because my dogs were barking. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. From when I found out it was Joaquin Phoenix, I thought to myself, he is the only person I could possibly see pulling off this role. And I honestly think that he's going to knock it out of the park. Now, whether the movie supporting him is good or not, that is anyone's guess at this point, because obviously the script could be crap for all we know. But if it's just going to be based off of who we know the Joker to be, I think that Joaquin Phoenix, based on that trailer especially, is going to knock out of the park, and I am so excited for it. I really am.
I say that is awesome to hear, because that's pretty much how I feel now, especially after the trailer. Did anybody here on the panel do they have any reservations about Joaquin Phoenix? Please, or the new Joker film, please speak your mind.
Again, I kind of don't really care. I mean, I think that Joaquin's a great actor for it. The trailer looked really good. I'm not a huge DC fan in general, but I liked some of their movies. I liked Heath Ledger and whatnot. I liked the cartoon one with Hamill. So I'm willing to see this one, give it a shot. It looks like a different style compared to the other DC ones, so hopefully it's pretty good. I don't really have any expectations for it, so we'll see.
I'll say, yeah. That's a valid take, especially if someone not as big on the DC universe. I mean, to be honest, I'm more of a DC fan than Marvel. I like the darkness. I like all that. The more morality, ambiguity, the moral ambiguity. I don't like just necessarily good guy, bad guy. I like am I a good guy? Am I being a bad guy in this instance? I like that questioning in characters. And I feel like DC portrays that a lot more and a lot better than Marvel does, in my naive fandom, I guess, of me watching all of this. But thinking,
basically,
go ahead.
Basically, in Australia, it's like if it wasn't for YouTube and listening to you guys, I wouldn't hear probably about 60% of the movies, because they don't advertise, they don't show them. Blah, blah, blah. The Joker movie, if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't know anything about it. Brightburn, I only found out that from Jeremy a few days ago. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out that we don't hear anything about here. And even especially with Alita, nothing was said about Alita. It wasn't until they actually released it at the cinemas, then we started to get some adverts. But yeah, but as far as Australia goes, we don't do that promotion. Mind you, all the crap movies we get plenty of ads for.
Well, and going off of what Mr. Peabody just brought up there, I think this could lead us to our next point. Well, of recent, within the past, 12 months since May of last year, maybe, what have been some of your favorite or potentially most underrated movies that we've watched? That maybe are a Netflix movie, a Hulu movie.
Within the last year, you mean?
Yep. What was that?
Within the last year, you mean, or in general?
Yeah, like basically, within a year from now. Yeah, a year prior. Maybe some underrated movies that maybe you personally just enjoyed, or maybe a lot of people enjoyed, but it just still seemed underrated. So I guess whoever wants to start, just please take away.
Well, for me, it's like it was Alita here was swept under the rug. As I said, it wasn't until it actually got released in the cinemas that we started to get adverts for it. Things like Endgame and all that, we were plastered with all the stuff. It was, and we got all that crap. But yeah, some of the movies really slipped under the radar. But that's in Australia. I don't know what it's like for you guys.
Alita was definitely an underrated for me. I think Odin, that was a Alita Battle Angel. I feel like, I went to see that movie just because of some of your reviews of it.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was my second favorite film of the year. It just got knocked out by John Wick Chapter 3.
Oh, yeah, I need to see that yet. So
yeah,
I was listening to Lethal Lightning earlier, and you were on there, and I had to turn it off because you were saying some of the stuff that happened. I'm like, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
So good.
No, I've seen it, but obviously you haven't.
I heard something about an eye, and I'm like, I gotta wait.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, let's continue down the panel here. Proper, Rookie, Mr. Peabody, and we got Hallmark Channel Jeremy in here. Hallmark, we are looking for your most underrated movie of 2018, basically, or early 2019. So. But Rookie and PJ, lead the way.
You first, Rookie.
All right. I'm trying to think back. It feels like forever ago now, honestly. I think
maybe I just.
I saw Hotel Artemis. That one was kind of a weird one, but like enjoyable as in I saw it once and I never want to see it again, but it was, for not knowing what to expect, for just a random one, not having any attachment to the franchise, just knowing the actors in it, basically, it was okay. It's all right. It's okay. Annihilation was okay. I don't know. Honestly, didn't enjoy too many that I saw. I mean, that aren't. I'm trying to say ones that aren't obvious good ones. I kind of felt a little different about Alita. I was a little meh on the side with that, but nothing really comes to mind right now. I can't watch any movies at the moment anyway because my stupid theater's closed. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as you. They're just nothing's really coming to mind because nothing was very. It just wasn't that memorable. I guess maybe last. I'm just thinking mostly last year. I don't know.
Okay ones, but none that I would say were underrated.
No, I know most underrated. I don't know. I can't think of any right now.
Well,
I just need to see more movies to determine that.
And to the lay fan, that could speak to that this year in pop culture. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here, is just show like what do we remember the most, from May to May.
I only remember the things that I didn't like. To be honest,
was probably the first one.
That was the first one. Halloween kind of sucked, but that's just me. Yeah, I was. Yeah. Could have done so much more. Much more. But I mean, a couple of cool things, but just just a year of duds.
I was gonna say, so I'll go to mine here quick, and then we'll go to say Odin if he has another couple favorites or underrated films, and then Adam and Hallmark. But my underrated or my kind of favorite, I guess, moments or films of the year, they were not mainstream, like not released in theater films, but the Fyre Fest documentaries, which I don't think they were underrated. They were very publicized on social media. The Fyre Fest documentaries about the failed Fyre Festival in 2017 were incredible. Absolutely incredible. Showed you how money laundering and fraud occurs today, basically taking rich people's money and saying, hey, we're going to have all these big acts like Blink-182, Kanye West, all these at the island of Exuma, and then boom, they show up. It's FEMA tents they're living in, and they paid like $5,000 for these things. It was funny to watch, but it was two on Hulu and Netflix. Very good documentaries that actually the Hulu interviewed the mastermind behind it all. I can't freaking remember his name off the top of my head, but they were very in depth, and you kind of got to see what 21st century fraud looks like. And another one that it's very recent, and it's also a Netflix movie, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. The Ted Bundy story. Zac Efron as Ted Bundy, I think, hit it out of the park. That was incredible, his portrayal of Ted Bundy, where I listened to an interview with him recently on Pardon My Take, and kind of what you said, PJ, earlier, Zac Efron trying to escape, the little teenage, hot guy or whatever. In that interview with Pardon My Take, he was just like, I hate that persona. I hate it. He's like, anything with fat, he's like, screw it. He's like, I'd rather just be me. Like, I'd just rather be like a hot guy just wearing whatever I want to. I'd rather just walk down the street wearing sweats, to be honest, and people go nuts about me. That's all I'd care about. And he like opened up about it. And I think that Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, I feel like he was able to show himself from two perspectives on that movie. It was a wicked portrayal, a good wicked portrayal of Ted Bundy, to show how his psyche, he was like, I'm okay, I'm fine, this is normal. And then Zac Efron be able to take that kind of mindset whenever you think of him as just being like that, oh, I'm that guy on the Disney Channel or whatever, I'm that hot guy from High School Musical, and then just throw it out and be this wickedly evil guy and try to sell it as good as he did. But then while you're watching it, you're just like, oh God, like, why is this guy winning? And then at the end, and then it breaks down, and you're just like, this is freaking evil. and you see all the devastation and all the murders that he'd caused, that he was portraying Ted Bundy as. I feel like that was a highlight for me, honestly. That movie was one of my favorite things when I look back from May to May. That movie and the Firefest documentaries are two things that I think I can take away that were fantastic. And I'm leaving out Avengers Endgame. I will say I'm leaving out Endgame. But Endgame is a little above that, but just going a little step below, I think those two Netflix and Hulu documentaries, I think, were great.
Well, that's good. I haven't seen a documentary in quite a while, but sounds good.
The Firefest documentaries, highly. If you just type in FYRE, highly suggest.
I was, I guess, in the last year, I was very satisfied with. I liked a couple of years ago. There's a movie called Happy Death Day, which I really enjoyed. It was a slasher film that had a interesting, how would you say, Groundhog Day effect plot element in it, which was well executed. And this, the sequel, Happy Death Day to You, had a little bit more of a science fiction sort of feel to it, and I think it added excellently to the story and to the It was a great add-on, and it was a decent follow-up. I really enjoyed it.
I saw the first Happy Death Day.
Yeah, it's not bad for a sequel, let alone a slasher sequel. It was clever.
I would say I've seen Scream 2, so.
Why did they have to? Never mind. I'm not going to get into it.
I saw Odin smirked when I said that. So.
Scream 2.
Do you not like Scream 2?
I'm not a big fan of the Scream films in general, so.
I like the first one, and that was like,
yeah.
The first one,
I think it is.
This is amusing, and then after that was like,
all four of them are excellent films. They're masterpieces. I don't know what you're talking about. they're better than A Nightmare on Elm Street. Better than Halloween. No, I'm kidding. Not Halloween.
Nightmare on Elm Street, classic.
Oh no! I was just.
It's so bad that it's good.
Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, it's more of a comedy to me. Both of them, both the franchises are more comedy. Like, I laugh more at Scream than I am terrified.
So that's how when I watched Scream 1, I was laughing more than I was being like, oh my God.
That's what made it easy to watch. You know, even if you weren't a horror fan, you could just think of it as a comedy. I mean, the original name was Scary Movie, which should tell you enough.
Yeah. well, whenever I watched, well, the thing is, I guess this will go. Have any of you guys seen Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
No.
And the 6 follow-ups to it.
No, just the second one.
First one.
Actually, no,
I have watched all
the first one. Yeah.
You've watched all of them?
Every single one of them.
Why?
I see. The thing is, I like paranormal movies like that. I like the paranormal movies like that. It creeps me out. It makes me the Bible that I have on my nightstand. I always make sure it's a little closer after I watch a movie like that because I am freaked out. But I enjoy watching them movies because I'm just like, it's much more believable. As you know, as a Christian, I believe, there are dark forces, there are demons and things like that. So I'm like, yeah, it could be real or whatever. But I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, it's just a movie though. It's just a movie or whatever.
Just really.
But
just to make sure I've got the right film.
It's like, I enjoy. It's like I like watching that. I know the story is terrible though. Like, it's just, the story is absolutely terrible.
It becomes terrible.
But seeing someone just get dragged out of their bed, I'm just like, that's kind of funny. Or whenever they have when they do the dust thing, or the baby powder, by the doorsteps, and you see the footsteps, I'm just like, that's kind of creepy. And you just see what happens. I'm just like, that's creepy. But it's like that rush whenever you're scared, you like it. It's like that. You can't really describe it, but you're just like, ugh. It's like, why do you go to a haunted house? Like a haunted house attraction, an amusement park, or a seasonal Halloween attraction. Why do you go? You like to be scared. That's kind of my like thing with Paranormal Activity. I'm not like one of them that's like I'll watch Paranormal Activity. I'll be freaked out for like an hour. After that, I'm fine. Don't care.
Does that apply to all of these ghost movies that have plagued the horror genre for the
Honestly,
last
no.
decade?
Just Paranormal Activity. It's just the found footage films.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like,
found
if you're
footage.
really scared
Yeah, no.
by
The
Insidious,
Conjuring.
like,
I could watch The Conjuring. I watched The Nun. Like, I don't care. The Conjuring, all that stuff. No, Annabelle, stuff like that. No, but no, the found footage is where I'm just. It's where it's like in your house kind of thing. Where I'm just like, ugh.
Because Paranormal Activity, was that the one that it was almost like security cameras around the house that was capturing stuff?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the first one.
Yeah. Now the first one was like really, really like really popularized and everything. But no, then I mean I think it's I'm just like now when I watch it, like I can watch all of them like in a day and I'll be like, whatever. But like when I first saw them, I'm just like, whoa, this is creepy. But then like an hour later, I'm like, this is fine. Don't care. But
I still think it's kind of cool that Steven Spielberg got locked in a room after watching the movie
which movie?
Paranormal Activity.
Well, he got locked in a room?
Yeah, he got locked in a room after watching it. It was just really bizarre, and he thought the DVD was haunted.
Sheesh. That is creepy. Odin,
True.
What do you think of Paranormal Activity?
So the first one I think is very well made. I respect it for what it did by being made for like nothing, like chump
I think it
change.
was like $50,000 they made it for.
Well, here,
Something like that.
if I'm not mistaken, it is still the highest grossing percentage-wise based off of investment film, meaning that it made the most profit for how much it was actually cost to make. It set a record there. So it didn't make the most money ever, but like compared to how much it put in, it made like a record amount or something like that.
I feel like it's like almost like the Blair Witch Project. I mean that's honestly the Blair Witch Project is in the top 10 of my favorite films, just because of the it was one of the first of its kind of movie.
Yeah, and so that's why I respect it for what it is as a found footage, but I also hate those films because I get terrified by them. So I mean,
It did its job then.
Yeah, but I don't like that. So yeah, I have like a very weird relationship with that movie. So I respect it for what it is, but I have no desire to ever see it ever again in my life.
Yeah. Odin, have you seen the Blair Witch Project?
Nope.
It's okay. It's literally like it's a 90-minute film, and 75 minutes of it is boring.
Yeah, I refuse.
And it's just all of them just freak out about it, like every tiny little thing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, still not gonna watch it. Yeah.
No, but 75 minutes of it is not scary. It's like nothing.
Okay.
Like it's very boring.
All right. Yep. Okay. Still not watching it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But no,
Yes.
But no, one thing. No,
I'm trying to convince you.
It's like what the Blair Witch Project did with the found footage genre. I like it's like what it's like what Odin said. Appreciate it, but it's just like I hate to watch it because it makes it feel real. And one thing with entertainment, we like to have that kind of separation of reality and then fiction. Where the found footage films with horror films, especially with people that have like that kind of, they're creeped out by certain things, like, might be creeped out by ghosts or demons, whatever. Doesn't matter, whatever they're creeped out by. Having that found footage kind of blurs that line where you're just like, I might not, it's just like, I might not believe in demons or I might not believe in ghosts or whatever. But it's just like, oh my God, it looks so freaking real. I'm going to be freaked out for the next week or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the beauty of those films. But it's also kind of like the downfall where you've got people interested, like horror people that are interested, like myself. Like I'm like, I want to watch a found footage film. But when I watch it, I'm like, oh my God. Like, okay, I'm done. Not watching this again. I'm out. It's like, your audience can get thrown out the window really fast. And I think that's kind of one of the pitfalls of the horror industry is kind of dealing with that kind of audience. But slasher films, I feel like, don't have to deal with that. Slasher films are just like, people just want to see people get killed in the craziest way possible. or just see like Freddy and Jason, all of them show up in the most badass way possible. And my cat has just jumped.
People also with slasher films, they like to see tits.
That is also another thing. Yes, that is also another thing.
There's a common trope in slasher films is there's usually a sex scene, there's usually nudity. That's a plus. I've seen a lot of slasher films. There's usually some sort of element in there. I know, Odin, you're looking dumbfounded. It's true though. It's true. Some people really do. That's not the main reason, but that's just like, okay, this is what's expected. Now look at any of the Friday the 13th films.
I was gonna say that's exactly what I was gonna say. Friday the 13th is
it doesn't even take itself seriously at all.
It's like I love Jason films, but it's
true. It's
Ginevra.
I'm sorry. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Doesn't mean you have to say it, Ginevra. Okay, doesn't mean you have to say it.
I'm sorry. I forgot I was in the presence of a Catholic man, and I'm very. It's very sinful to be thinking about these things. I know it's disgusting and just very sinful, but yeah.
Yep.
Proper Ginevra.
Proper. So, Moist, we have a possible name for the puppy, which is Goldilocks Paulette.
Goldilocks Paulette. So for those of you listening here, and for those on the panel, Adam Shawhan, there's a recent new puppy in the Shawhan Weird Dog clan. A very cute little puppy. Adam, can you turn your camera on to show the puppy?
I sure can. Give me 1 second.
It's a very cute little puppy.
6 days old.
There we go.
6 days old, hiding under the mom. Hold on,
Oh,
guys.
right
Give me
under the
1
mom.
second. Give me 1 second to get her.
I say 6 days old. I think what'd you say, like 13 pounds or 13 ounces?
Look.
Not 13 ounces.
Yeah,
Not
13.
13
Yeah,
pounds would be
13.6 ounces. If
That would
13
hurt.
pounds,
You're in
that's a big
paranormal activity.
puppy.
13 pounds.
Even for a human baby, isn't that
You
a
got to
little
feel sorry
heavy?
for the mother.
Are mostly human babies not 13 pounds typically?
No,
That's high for a human baby.
Adam, talk.
There you go. There we have
You look at Adam. There's the
Aww.
Mr. Peabody with Goldilocks Paulette.
I didn't name it that.
Oh no, you didn't name it that, but you should be able to figure it out.
Yeah, no, because you're talking about my hair.
We have welcomed on a puppy onto the Moistcast here. The 1 year anniversary of the Moist.
No.
1 year anniversary of the
Let me get-
Moistcast and a new puppy.
Oh, I could have named her Brandy.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Maybe Brandy. Moist.
If you guys
I would say Moist has got to be in there. But
if you put
let-
names in the hat and help me with this, it'd be so much easier.
Ooh.
Look, guys, one puppy.
Let me guess that Tristan walked into the room, saw me on screen, and straight away said Goldilocks Paulette.
Fuck yeah.
I just want to get in your hair.
let's go into some recent Moist history. So let's go into 2019 Moist. The biggest thing in 2019 of Moist history, we're celebrating the Moist Cast here, and the Moist anniversary of the Moist at World Class Bullshitters a year ago today, making his debut in the comment section. It is we had the biggest movie basically in history come out. That is Avengers Endgame. And I know everybody here, we've all done our Endgame reviews. We've all talked about Endgame a lot. But let's just think about it. Like, when you first saw it, let's just take it back. What were your first initial reactions when you first saw Endgame? What did you think about it? You know, we're a few months out. We're a couple months out from it. What did you think
That
of
it was
it?
better than Infinity War.
All right, Mr. Peabody, go.
That it was better than Infinity War.
Better than Infinity War. Same here. I say Odin.
That it was a giant disappointment.
Giant disappointment. All right,
Great
giant
Scott.
disappointment. I know I know I've listened to your reviews and everything, but just reiterate why do you think it was a
Because the plot sucked.
It was very
The basic plot point was time travel, and it didn't work. They broke their own
Come on,
rules. Their rules sucked.
Odin, you're using the wrong voice, Odin.
Oh.
Great Scott!
And I could go there, but at this point in time, I'm just
Yeah, just don't have the energy.
playing.
All right, so
So
before we go into there, I was here's as a just lay MCU fan, and I said earlier, I watched. I'm not the biggest MCU fan. I've watched every Avengers film. I watched basically Iron Man 1 and 2, Captain America, his first movie, Winter Soldier, all that, Civil War, and then that was basically it. And then I listened to, because I was just kind of burnt out on superhero movies. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like every other month there's a superhero movie coming out. I just want the big ones with the Avengers and all that stuff. That's what I wanted. So I listened to a 5-hour YouTube video wrapping up the MCU leading up to Endgame. And I had seen Infinity War the first night it was out. I went and saw it, everything, good to go. But that YouTube video basically summed up everything. You know, I didn't have every tiny little detail of every tiny story or whatever. Shout out Ant-Man. But I went into the end game and I was fine. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I watched everything and I understood everything perfectly. I'm like, all right, this is good. Like, I'm fine. So I went into it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But the thing is, I didn't spend like I guess not at this point. I guess like to put it into my, like maybe like 15 hours extra into the characters that were being portrayed in Endgame. I didn't spend that extra. I had seen Guardians of the Galaxy, all that stuff, but like I didn't put in like Black Panther and all that stuff. I'm like, I will get the reruns. I'll get all that stuff. Like Iron Man 3, like I didn't see that. Like I don't care. But like kind of my thing is like, just give me the freaking Avengers. That's all I want. I enjoyed it being as a lay fan perspective. I enjoyed it. So I feel like a lot of you on the panel here have a lot more experience with the MCU. How do you guys feel about the Avengers Endgame? Proper Jeremy, you go.
I am no expert in the MCU whatsoever, at all. But I did. I liked some of the character arcs. I thought were satisfying. Some character arcs not as satisfying. I did not like them as much. I liked Captain Marvel getting her ass whooped.
That was pretty funny.
Yep. She has only done one thing, one major contribution, and that is saving Tony and Nebula. That is it. And then she's just there at the beginning, and then she leaves. And then comes back at the end.
Yeah, and
Fine.
Deus Ex Machina's all of Thanos' ships. Yeah.
Yeah, is that really
That's nothing.
why that whole movie was made? Like, or that whole character is there just to have that?
Probably.
Like, just as for plot convenience.
Well, that surprised you
There's
by
no
now.
other way to get him back.
I'll say, yeah, Rookie, go.
What I think? I liked it, but honestly, I haven't thought about it that much since I saw it. Like, I was gonna make a review for it, but then I just felt no energy to. Kind of just like, yeah, I mean, I liked it, but I don't really know what else to say about it. Like, I do kind of agree with Odin on some stuff. Like, I do think they spend too much time trying to explain it, and the more they try to explain it, the worse they back themselves into a hole with what they can do and whatnot with their time travel thing. I kind of wish that they split these last two Avengers movies into 3 in a way, so we can see some proper time with the Earth, like with losing half its population and stuff in the galaxy. That would have been a nice touch. I know I liked after Tony's death, like his daughter sitting there with Happy, and he's like, "Oh, you hungry? Oh, yeah, I like burgers." Dad liked burgers. And that was like a nice little moment. So I liked it. I don't know what I'd rate it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, neither would I. Just what they did with Cap and Tony was great. Perfect endings for them.
Well,
Yeah,
I will give you a fun fact. Fun fact:
Oh.
the actor that played, who sat in at points for Captain America, Patrick Gorman, who was an old guy, I am friends with on Facebook. So
Sweet.
old
You're-
Captain
you're-
America, not who played him?
Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans. Yeah, let's say escaped my mind right there. So Chris Evans wore the old makeup or whatever. Played a couple of lines, but they had a backup that played the rest of the lines. Friends with him on Facebook because I'm a Civil War reenactor, and the guy that played him was a Civil War reenactor as well, and played John Bell Hood in the movie Gettysburg.
Ooh.
So I am friends with a cast member of Avengers Endgame on Facebook.
Score 1 for Brandon Moise. Sweet.
I was going to say, yes, the Moist is he's infiltrating Hollywood. On a very, he will never make the big screen, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty exciting. He put that up on his Facebook, and he messaged like all his friends. I'm just like, no freaking way, that's awesome. Like, he's just like, this is the last thing I do, and he's like, he retired. So, Patrick Gorman's the guy that played his like double, and he did half of the scene. He did like half of that scene, just because he was actually old, so he had basically kind of like mimicked Chris Evans' voice, so he just like lipped it. So so that's awesome. But I think Endgame, I enjoyed it, but yeah, I mean, say, Mr. Peabody. Everybody's gone. I guess everybody's gone. Everybody is gone.
No, I'm here. I just turned on my mic.
Okay, Endgame. How did you feel about Endgame?
I liked it. As I said, I liked the flow of the movie much better. The time travel didn't really bother me that much. So, but Infinity War I thought was a jumbled mess. So when
Wrong.
End came,
Before I talk
when-
Wrong.
Mr. Peabody.
This is my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Endgame was a jumbled mess. They kept on jumping all over the place, and you couldn't follow anything. But Infinity War. But Endgame, it flowed.
I'll say,
That was my opinion.
Here's a good point for discussion. I think that we can have on the channel here. Odin, what do you think with Infinity War compared to Endgame, with it being a jumbled mess, like just Mr. Peabody just said?
Well, it's not a jumbled mess. Everything flows together. Everything works together. All the characters make sense. All the character arcs work together, and there isn't messy time travel.
I think he's more referring to they jump around between 4 or 5 groups of people. As to
Yeah, and they do it perfectly well. It's like a Game of Thrones novel. Everything just works very well together.
Oh, I'm going to go to Game of Thrones.
I thought it was
no.
too much too soon. They tried to cram too much into the one movie.
You're not talking about grabbing too much.
It seems like what it boils down to, Odin, is the time travel.
Yeah.
And that's it. What about everything else?
Well, here's the thing. Time travel is like the basic plot of the film. And if the basic plot device of the film doesn't work, then the film doesn't work.
It doesn't
So-
work for you.
No, doesn't work.
Doesn't
Period.
work for you.
No, doesn't work.
It
Period.
works for other
From an
people
objective
just
standpoint,
fine.
from the storytelling objective standpoint, if your basic plot premise does not work, then it does not work.
Well, actually,
And that-
technically,
I'm not going to
Wait,
torture
wait,
you
wait,
with
wait,
questions
let
or
me-
anything.
let
I
Rookie-
can-
In that case, what happened to John Wick?
Hey, we don't.
No.
Rookie critic.
No.
Rookie critic.
If the basic plot doesn't work,
The
what
basic
happened to John
plot
Wick?
does work because from the very first film, they've established that this guy is essentially the Superman of hitmen. So yes, that actually does work.
Mm-mm.
Because they set it up from the very beginning. Unlike in Endgame, where they say, this is how time travel works. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait, never mind. We got to change the rules because we got to do all these convenient things. And then after the film, oh, no, this is how time travel works, says the writers. Oh, wait, the director, this is how time travel works. They can't even agree on how time travel works. Ergo, you're wrong.
There it is. The fact that
Hey,
words
John Wick,
to
John Wick
describe
3
what
is a very
happened.
good movie. It is a good movie, but there is a big problem with it.
can somebody cue the Mortal Kombat music for Odin and Peabody?
Dun 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 dun.
Ready, fight!
Fatality.
That's what Mr. Peabody speaker piece.
Oh, me? Well, which movie are we talking about now? I don't want to.
I say we're talking about Avengers, all that.
Well, the Avengers, right? As I said, as I've already said, Endgame flowed for me. Infinity War didn't. That's my opinion. But if you're going to start picking apart plot things and say that kills the whole movie, then I'm going to attack John Wick.
So what doesn't work with John Wick?
The premise that you've got all these well-trained assassins and they can't kill one guy.
But they've already pre-established from the very beginning that John Wick is not just your run-of-the-mill assassin.
Pre-establishment is not a Superman, right?
In
And
the movie,
amount
they
of
have established that he is, though, so it does work within the frame of the film.
Well, it goes from John Wick 2 to John Wick 3, yes? He took a lot of damage in John Wick 2, right?
Mhm.
And in the beginning of John Wick 3, he takes a large knife through the shoulder. That fucks up your arm. And yet he goes through the whole rest of the movie and he's fine.
Yeah, you
That
wonder why?
doesn't
Because
matter.
he gets it stitched up and also gets medication, which specifically says it's going to help with your pain and give you energy.
Yeah, don't give me that magic pill thing.
It's been established. It's been established.
When
I was
you
gonna
kill
bring up
when you
another
kill a
time
man's dog, it gives him superpowers. Okay.
He's
That's
a
like
Gary
very-
Stew.
I was going to use
No,
another.
because
That's right.
again, there's
It's a
all
good-
these
it's a
things
good-
that already presuppose his ability
No,
and the
don't-
ability to move through.
nah. Well,
Yep.
All I'm saying is like if you're saying you're already saying John Wick's a fantastic guy and everything like that. Well, all I'm saying is all these other assassins are fucking useless.
No, they're just not as good as he is because again, they've established that from the very beginning.
No, we're just gonna bounce off the walls continually here.
Fatality.
You're both correct. You're both correct.
No, but it's good that we can just have these conversations. It's like and we both respect each other, so it's not a problem there. I just think if you're going to pick one movie apart for something, then I'm going to attack another movie for the same thing.
Yes, and you did, and I just pointed out how that doesn't work.
I was going to point out another
Yeah.
time travel one. Back to the Future.
Okay, good.
Oh no, it's perfect.
John
No.
Wick is not a Gary Sue.
Thank you.
Well,
I just spent like 30 minutes arguing with Odin about Brightburn, but I'm in full agreement with him here.
Yep.
Hey, Lethal.
Hey, Lethal, go back. Lethal, go back to Tasmania.
Well,
You don't deserve to be in Australia. You don't deserve to be in Australia. You can go back to Tasmania.
Did it just get
You
sick
sound like
in
a
here?
white Victorian right about now, Peabody.
Oh,
Damn,
those are fighting words right there.
damn, son.
Yeah, this is Australian savagery.
okay,
Everyone's
because-
in the room.
I am now the host
No,
of the final
The thing is,
showdown
he actually,
between.
my internet actually cut out, so I didn't hear anything that he said.
Oh,
Ah, how convenient.
Being thrown
How
towards people.
convenient for you.
It's okay. It's just banter.
Yep. Hey, Lethal.
Hey, rookie, how you doing? Proper. I had this question. How long does it take you to spike your hair every morning?
Oh,
it
You
depends
should
on how
know.
much hair gel you give him.
That's natural, man. That's natural.
Oh, I mean, well, if you want a serious answer, just
His pillow's
I
just
think-
greasy.
I think-
and then you just,
I think it looks good. And but by the way, I love Odin's hair too.
thank you. I appreciate
lot-
that.
Yeah.
it's a lot less maintenance.
As just to let you know, I have shaved my head recently as well.
Looks like Ruby Rose.
Are you trying to make a connection here? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I'm just,
Odin and Tessa should trade hands. I mean, Odin should have the spiky
But that's
hair,
the good thing,
Proper should
guys,
be
because
bald.
you guys wake up in the morning and you're good to go. You don't need a brush
that's
or anything.
exactly
You're good
right.
to go.
I mean,
It's very, very comfy.
Shower.
wake
He
up
still
and you're
needs a
like-
comb for the beard.
No,
Yeah,
but
well-
he's trimmed that too.
And it's beautiful. But on that note, I do have to go. It's been fun.
Yeah, me too. I just wanted to pop in and just
Congratulations
back up
on 1 year of moistness, Mr. Moist. And one final note, Peabody, you're wrong.
Keep jumping in, Odin.
Been wrong. Yeah.
well,
I
We'll
need to
also
go as
have to
well.
be leaving in a
Yep.
moment
hang on.
for a prior commitment. I think.
That's
yeah,
like
me too.
no problem.
All right. Moist,
Oh.
always good to see you. Rookie, you're a legend. Frank, oh my God, Frank is in the stream. We got some Nude Squad leader, sub commander of the Nude Squad, Hallmark Channel, Jeremy, and
Nude
Mr.
Squad.
Peabody. Nude Squad, Mr. Peabody, always good seeing you. Take care, gentlemen. I will speak to you all soon.
We'll
Take
see you
care,
later.
See you later.
And with
Bye.
that, I would like to thank Proper Jeremy, aka Proper Jenny.
Only
whichever-
for another 29 days.
There you go. Number 29 days. Make sure to check out his channel. We'd like to thank him for tuning in and giving us debate. This has been a hell of a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah. And by the way, I was going to make comparisons. If John Wick is kind of like Ray, but that's not. I wasn't going to go there. I could not. I could not do it. I couldn't do it.
Did she lose a dog?
I
No.
don't-
No, I wasn't saying that. I'm not saying he's a Gary Sue or anything. He's a well trained person. What I was saying is all the other
the
assassins are
villains suck.
yeah.
I say, and
So
well,
it's kind of like the Star Wars sequels. All the villains suck.
No, it could be Dragon Ball rules where if his power level
I would
is higher
have.
than everyone else, it doesn't matter how many there are. If he's higher than all of them, then they're all weaker than him. They can all team up and still get beat.
Well, anyways, dude, it's great to chat with you again.
I'll say it's been a while, Proper Jeremy, and I'll be tuning in tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh wait, that's 3 p.m. Eastern
That would
for
be
you.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard
Yeah.
Time.
Indeed.
For the Council of Jeremy's, hosted on Proper Jeremy's channel. He is basically the biggest Jeremy channel out there. Make sure you check him out. You've heard him tonight, and he will give you all the hot takes that you need. Make sure you check out Proper Jeremy/Jenny.
Thank you so much, Shahan. It's great seeing you again. Peabody, great pleasure as always. Tim,
What?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Alright.
Yep, probably we'll discuss. And then Rookie, I got your very long message.
Yep, you're welcome.
I will read it.
Yeah.
The reason Proper's channel is so big is because a small channel won't hold his ego.
Nope, it just won't do it.
What a shot. And he's gone. But before we go here, I'd like to thank Odin's Movie Blog for tuning in here. So for those of you who have tuned in here, make sure you check out Odin's Movie Blog. He has been killing it lately, and he has been giving you killing it reviews of movies, TV shows, everything. And also make sure to check out Lethal Lightning. Lethal Lightning has been giving you some of the greatest takes from the land down under. Just like our friend, Mr. Peabody, has been giving you takes from the land down under.
Down under.
This
Not under.
stream.
Crikey!
Crikey.
Don't start that shit.
We are here from Steve Irwin.
It's like it's really funny to hear Americans try and do Australian
What?
colloquial terms.
Crikey.
Same-
Would you look
same
at the
things it would
size
be-
of that one?
Crikey. Did you see that crikey?
Crockett,
Oh,
throw a
it's-
shrimp on the barbie.
But
Isn't he
here's
wonderful?
the thing, though. But here's the positive thing, though. The fact that all Americans are like, crikey, did you see that croc? At least it has been raising awareness for like you know, the habitat needs of crocodiles and things like that, because, you know, really, I mean, you know, the crocodile hunter brought that to the media attention. It was just like, oh no, it's a big media thing, or whatever. But you know, one thing,
thing is,
and
he was
like
a dead-
devastated the world that he was
And
whenever
the-
he died.
Yeah,
It's
he
like,
was.
oh,
And the people
And
that
he
said
was an
some bad
ambassador,
words, the people that said some bad words about him a little while back,
well, they can go fuck themselves.
they shall burn in hell.
Yeah, Peter said they're like, Peter was just like, he was a wildlife harasser. It's like,
Mhm.
do you realize how many millions of people he brought to attention these creatures, like alligators, crocodiles, whatever they are, fucking
Well,
snakes,
I mean,
tarantulas,
well-
doesn't matter. The bajillions of things that Mr. Peabody is surviving on a daily basis. There are tarantulas trying to kill him. You realize that everything in Australia tries to kill you. He is surviving.
He was an ambassador. Plus, he was using his show to fund a wildlife reserve in Australia, which is Australia
Exactly.
Zoo, and
he is still
he
doing it
saved
to
so
this
many.
day.
It's still going to this day, and he saved so many animals because he
He's a
wasn't killing the
wildlife.
crocs. Yeah, no, he was taking the crocs away from where they were causing harm and putting them in his own park.
Well, they can do their thing.
Here's a fun fact. I'm sorry, Mr. Peabody, I can no longer keep your secret. He is the long lost son of Crocodile Dundee. You know, I mean, just look at him, blonde hair, you know, the rugged good look. It's you know,
that's because everything in Australia is bleached.
yeah.
We cop the sun.
No, but between Steve Irwin, Jack Hanna, and Jacques Cousteau, you know, I mean, come on.
I mean, that you can't beat that.
Well, there were certainly characters, and he sort of did emphasize the accent quite a bit. But he was such a vibrant person, and his son is like the spitting image.
Dude, I watched the first episode of they have their new film or their new episodes on the Animal Planet.
Yeah.
They had the first.
Yep.
Crikey, it's the Irwins.
Oh yeah, it's the Irwins. One of the first episodes was his son wrangling an alligator jumping on its back, feeding it, and all that stuff.
Yep.
And they had at the end of it, they had a comparison of his dad, Steve Irwin, and they had his son. It was literally the same exact thing. Like it was incredible. I actually I do not like get emotional about a lot of things, about like stuff like that. I was bawling my eyes out watching this and being like, Steve Irwin has to be so proud of his son right now. And it's just after he gets done with it, it's like it's nothing. He's just like, you know, I've watched my dad do it for years, and my dad taught me how to do it. And I'm gonna do it for my dad. And I'm like, that is just incredible. That you have that kind of, you know, that mentality to do it. And for those of you that have not watched, you can probably YouTube it really quick. Definitely check it out.
Can you imagine though having, you know, being able to tell the stories of, you know, like, you know, having like basically like home movies, and be like, yeah, oh look, yeah, that's me. You know, my dad is holding me right in front of a crocodile. Look, yeah. You know.
It was feeding time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's incredible. I mean, it's one of those things that
you also take it from the crocodile side. He's looking at this baby being held up in front of him and thinking, holy fuck, I can't touch that. That's an Irwin.
And the crocodile hunter being like, no. With just like the arm out, being like,
I'm afraid if I bite on that, it's gonna break all my teeth. Yeah.
So hey, can I dial it back a little bit?
Yeah.
For me, the most underrated movie was The Mule.
The Mule. Okay, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, good. Yeah, I think that was
And-
I was entertained watching
that
that.
Well,
That was
because
promoted-
you know, it's first of all Clint Eastwood. Okay, you know, a god among men.
Mm.
And you know, he's 88 years old. Like 2 years younger than like the real character he was playing. You know, and you know, I mean, well, first of all, you know, like it was a true story or based on a true story. And you know, it was just like, especially these days, it was like a big fu to modern Hollywood with all their wokeness. And it's just, you know, it's just a good time, you know, and like when as far as like the Infinity War Endgame Mortal Kombat goes, I think you know, I see points of Odin and Peabody both, but I overall, you know, like I enjoyed both of them.
Rookie, did you see this film?
See what? See what?
See the what was the name of it?
The
I
Mule.
don't know.
The Mule.
Nope, that one slipped by me.
It was a Clint Eastwood film.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
That actually was heavily promoted in Australia. The Mule.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
see?
they didn't promote it. They didn't really promote it that much here, you know. But
Like, I can tell you another movie that was completely overrated. And I hate to say this because Adam will understand, but the movie Greta, they plastered that all over the. It was all over the news. It was all over the. It was advertised every 5 seconds, and they just kept on plastering this movie, and it was a fucking boring piece of shit. You know, we don't hear anything about Lita, but we hear all about Greta.
all right. Hey, all right. So what do you guys think about? I'm gonna for Endgame. Okay, what when Cap handed the shield to Falcon, right?
Bullshit.
I didn't really, I wasn't really feeling it, and it has like, you know, disclaimer, it has nothing to do with Falcon being black. Okay, I don't give a crap about that stuff.
Perfect sense to me.
But
it has to do with the fact that he has
no.
no power whatsoever.
For me, it was the end of the original 6 Avengers.
That was my issue, Peabody, is because Falcon has not gone through the augmentation process that Cap or even Bucky has. You know, Falcon does not have any augmented abilities like Cap did. So I mean, he's not going to be able to do all the same
anything
stuff
with the shield
that Cap had. You know, I mean,
well, it kills Falcon as a character as well, because he by his own rights was a badass as Falcon.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, and I'm not my comic knowledge is very limited, but granted though, he was Captain America for a while, as was Bucky. But like one of the explanations I heard was like, you know, Bucky's still, you know, got that iffiness to him, you know,
so he could swing either way.
Yeah, and which I can understand that, but at the same time, like I said, Falcon, I can't remember his non-superhero name.
Sam Wilson.
Sam? Yeah. Okay. So Sam has not been augmented, at least not to my knowledge. So that's the aspect of it that didn't work for me. Um, you know, uh, and but I
Plus,
loved
the shield,
I
the shield's going to
I
completely fuck up his
yeah,
aerodynamics.
right. I love him. I loved Professor Hulk though. I love Professor Hulk because I mean I've ever since the first Hulk movie or movies even the Eric Bana one, um I've been waiting for that Professor Hulk style Hulk, not just the the mindless freaking behemoth aspect, which I know that's what a lot of people like about the Hulk. But over the years, I mean, I've seen like all kinds of uh, cartoons or animated series or whatever where the Hulk actually has an intellect to him, and I love that, because he not only is he super strong and can punch a tank and not break a knuckle, but you know he can figure out stuff mentally too, but yeah.
Yeah, even in full Hulk mode though, you can see that he does that. He actually he he he, he thinks his way through situations and solves the problem. So, even in full Hulk mode, he still does that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could take the first Avengers, where he's inside the Avengers Tower and is freaking flipping Loki around like a damn Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And then he goes puny god, but
Well, so did they
yeah, I
technically
don't know.
kill the Hulk's consciousness? Because that's Banner's consciousness now?
No, he's still in there. He's still in there. Yeah.
Well, because he's like, I just, put the two together, but they're technically two separate entities. So kind of got rid of the Hulk's
No.
no.
The Hulk.
Yes and no.
No, the Hulk is two sides of the same coin. That's
Yeah.
his personality. It's just that the rage side takes over. It's the same person. It's just two sides of the coin.
Well, I mean, I guess
That's the whole.
but like, remember, he didn't remember anything that happened while the Hulk was the Hulk for like 2 years.
I know, but it was still his personality. Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is that Hulk has his own memories, his own set of memories, like their own like identities, their own identities, basically. So you get rid of one, you technically kill somebody. You technically.
No. I understand. That, yeah. Once again, it's still two sides of the same coin, because it's like, he might not remember everything he does, but all the memories are still in there. It's just that he's blocked them out because he doesn't want to feel that rage.
Because I mean, it's like when he talked about he tried shooting himself, and he's like, and the big
It
guy
didn't go so well.
and the big guy spit the bullet out, So, I mean, he does have memories of what Hulk does. Just he might not remember everything, because hell, when you're when you're super pissed off or inebriated or something
Drunk.
like that, you don't remember, you might not remember everything. So,
but yeah, in actual fact, the Eric Bana film was my favorite Hulk film.
Really?
I know it's probably not going to play well with everybody else, but yeah, that was my favorite Hulk film, because it was played exactly how it's supposed to be played, because it was shown in like a cartoon form. And I know they went more for the realism for the later films, but in that first movie, it was basically played out just like a cartoon would be shown. So it's screen by screen. You have him jumping through the air. He's doing all these things and everything like that. I enjoyed the first movie. Yeah.
I'd say I'd prefer the Edward Norton one over the Eric Bana one, but
Well,
hashtag
fair enough.
hashtag
Yeah, I just
hashtag Liv Tyler.
hashtag Jennifer Connolly.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
what do you do there?
I forgot about that.
Hashtag
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, right. Hey, giggity. Yeah.
Giggity.
Yeah.
And hashtag Eric Banner was Hector.
Yeah.
Like,
Now
you can say
that-
whatever you like
that
about Troy.
was-
It was a good movie.
Yeah. Oh no, freaking Troy was awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, what do you think about Troy?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I think it was good.
Hashtag Rose Byrne.
I mean, plus it had one
Once
of the
again,
best.
another Australian.
Yeah. Plus it had one of the
know
best
what everybody wants
one-liners.
to say. It's hashtag Mandy Mole.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
So,
No, Troy had one of the best
That's
one-liners.
it, everybody quiet.
I'd say, well, we have been going on here for a couple hours here, and we have been divulging into various debates about everything, which has been good between what is good pop culture, what is bad pop culture within the past few hours. I believe that I will close this out here. This is the Moist anniversary of the Moist emerging on World Class Bullshitters in the comment section. I have had plenty of awesome panelists join me tonight. Those who are not with us are Proper Jeremy. Make sure to give him a follow. Leader of the Jeremy Army. And Odin's Movie Blog, who is also hosting a website, odinsmovieblog.com, I believe it is, or something like that, where you can fairly rate movies without the fear of Rotten Tomatoes trying to shoot you down. Make sure you check out his website, and make sure you check out his YouTube channel and help him grow. I've had plenty of great guests join me tonight, and you've heard a lot of them debate. And I've had 4 of them here right now with me, and I will start going down the line by having a co-founder of the Moistcast, a man who has a lot of wiener dogs.
I just want to say
And
happy anniversary, Master Moist. Give a shout out to all the special guests we've had. And, I'm glad that some of the guys I sent messages out to were able to jump in to surprise you. And, once again, happy anniversary, my friend. Can't wait till next year.
And also joining us from the land down under is the one, the only, the Mr. Peabody.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to go and dry my clothes because I'm so moist at the moment. But that happens.
All we expect.
You have to get your feet wet.
That's right,
And
Goldilocks. You
we
sure
also
do.
have one of the members of the Jeremy Army, Hallmark Channel Jeremy, joining us tonight.
Hey-oh.
The shellback.
The Shellback Hallmark Channel.
Yep.
And also a fairly early guest of the Moistcast and an up-and-coming YouTuber as well, who has he's a lot of content coming out this summer, and you should look forward to it. It is the Rookie Critic.
Thanks for having me on, brother. May your moistness blossom into the strongest waterfalls.
And that is all that we can wish for. And with that, folks, I shall close this moistness out. But the moist will never leave. The moist will always be with you. May your moist always be wet.
He's in the air around you.
And keep tuning in. Keep tuning in to the Moistcast because of all the master debaters that he has on the channel.
And be moist as always.